attending this AppCom side session. I really want to thank all of you for making the time. This is a really busy conference, and I'm sure there are other exciting sessions out there, and you chose to come here. This is a really important issue for AppCom and our partners in country. We feel that there is a strong need to address faith and sexuality and the issues around this particular theme. We have a panel of very exciting speakers today. We decided not to keep this only theoretical, but to hear voices from countries. We have colleagues from Bangladesh, from Bhutan, from Pakistan, and from India as well, who are going to be talking about their experiences with faith and sexuality. We're also going to try and keep some time for question and answers, because we really would like this to be an engaging session. What we hope that this session will cover is an overview of faith and sexuality the way we understand it. We've gone through a number of consultations to come up with two papers, one on Christianity and the other on Islam. We're going to be launching the Christianity paper today as well. We're also very keen on understanding what are the different entry points in religious texts and dogma where we can introduce the conversations and dialogues around sexuality. We also want to introduce the concept of God loves everybody equally, and we're going to try and talk about acceptance and how this can be, how this kind of environment can be created in the faith context. We're also going to explore the role of religious leaders to reduce stigma and hateful attitudes against LGBTI. And of course, like I said earlier, we're going to hear the very real stories on the ground from our community members. So I'm just going to quickly introduce you and the speakers and the people who are going to make interventions today. And they will tell you a little more about themselves when they start discussing with you. We have Dede, who is the chair of AppCom with us today. We have Shalay from Bondhu in Bangladesh. We have Kumar from the Gaurav Trust in Bombay. We have Sarah from Pakistan. And we have Tenzin from Bhutan with us today. So let's give them a warm welcome. Get some I want to invite Dede to kind of start off and take us through.
Thank you, Ryan. Speak closer. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this session. We've been preparing this for many months, actually, especially connected to the new discussion paper on Christianity, sexual diversity, and access to health services. This actually started long ago. Sally here actually was part of it. I think it was the
long back.
Long back. As I remember, it's actually there was a session on faith and HIV and sexuality. At Busan, but before that also at the Bali AIDS conference,
Bali,
in 2009. Yeah. And the idea was that, we are realistic that some of the resistance, some of the challenges to HIV work amongst gay men and other MSM, and also more generally with LGBTI communities and people have come from certain interpretations of religion. And I'm being careful here. We're not against religion, but it's just a certain interpretation of religion make our life difficult, sometimes even impossible to do things. And so we thought that we needed to do that. I mentioned Saleh because I think you and I were part of that old from 7 years ago. It's only 7 years. This discussion of actually what do we do, and actually something to do in this region. I'm sure. I know there are other books and pamphlets and videos and others on faith and sexuality, but we want to do something. So. To make a long story short, in 2013, AppCom came up with this Islam paper This was actually mostly written by Muslim Hendricks, an imam, a gay imam from South Africa. And it was well received. Of course, there are places, I think I'm not going to mention which countries out of sensitivity, where it was rejected. But actually, in most places, this was received quite well. It was well used. Maybe Sally could actually talk some more how it was used. And then, so this was launched in 2013, and then we thought, well, but there are also other religions, and that need to be discussed openly and as much as possible. And we started thinking that which major religion should we do it, APCOM has had since that, and there's those. I mean, the name changed, but the last name I think was called Faith in Action. So it's a working group within APCOM, and there were other members. There was Roy Wadia, who then went on to UNFPA, but Roy was vice chair of APCOM starting in 2013. He was very active. We work with AINA, the AIDS Interfaith Network on AIDS, with Inarella, which is a more global network of interfaith leaders. I think actually they probably have, many of them are in the Faith Pre-Conference, which is happening right now. I hope they don't see us as an either. It's just that. No. I know. I met people this morning at breakfast who were going to, people like Ken Moala, Julie Macaulay, so they're more global. This is Asia Pacific. This is, if you look at the paper later, which is available outside, by the way, because of our mandate, it does deal with gay men and other MSM. Although, if you actually read it more carefully, it also talks about other sexual minorities. So that's the story. So this is actually our chance to thank Mr. Hendricks again. In a way, to thank the founder of APCOM, Shimena Khan, who actually had this idea from very early on. But also we need to thank the APCOM team, with in-house, Shankar, Ryan, Midnight, and other people. But specifically, the Christianity paper was written also by a gay pastor, a gay priest actually, Joseph Go, who can't be here. Well, it's sad because his partner passed away about 2 months ago, and he just can't deal with speaking in public and all that. So thank you. This is actually our official thanks to Joseph Go. At the ILGA Asia conference in Taipei, we had like a preview of what would go into the discussion paper, and we were joined by Reverend Liang Xiu, who's also a gay pastor from Singapore. You probably know the Free Community Church in Singapore. It's an LGBT and ally church in Singapore. So I guess without further ado, this paper is officially launched. Please spread the word, use it, criticize it, and then we probably would come with a different version or something. This is actually the second printing of the Islam paper, so it's well received, I think. Yeah, with some of course some resistance, but from the usual suspects, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's it. Let's go to the speakers.
Thank you, Dede. So could we start with our community voices, and we could start with Sarah from Pakistan. Yeah.
Hello everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. This is my faith session. So I hope that you guys are doing well. And when APCOM contacted me for the faith session, the first thing came in my mind was blasphemy thing. because in our country there are certain things which you speak so you can get killed. So, but I will share my journey in a simple word, and please kindly take it on the basis of human right. I would try to not to quote any Islamic things so that I can't be the target of the blasphemy. Well, but just for your records, I had read Quran, the holy book for Islam, for 7 times, and I even know by heart some almost 23 paras. So, and being a transgender and being a transgender from a Islamic country, not from Pakistan, because there are many Islamic countries too. It's quite difficult, I think. In the beginning, when I started, when I decided, or when I started, okay, fine, I have to declare my sexuality. By the way, I'm a transgender and I'm a bisexual. So it was a double discrimination thing in my head because in Islam, we do have place for intersex people. We do have place for people who are born with ambiguous organ, but we don't have any place for the people who think that their soul is trapped in a wrong body. That's what I am. But fortunately, unfortunately, in Pakistan, there are certain people are not well aware, so they take in everything into one column, and we got the rights in that hurt, and we're happy that actually something had happened. But it was very difficult for me to do that because I think there's a difference between being modern and being vulgar. I'm quite modern, but doesn't mean that I'm vulgar. I had dated many guys, I met many guys, but doesn't mean I slept with everyone. So it's very much different to say that I'm a transgender, so it doesn't mean that I would be non-religious too. So it's a very unfair concept that we have in our country, or maybe in every country. I was starting, and I was sitting in a morning show, and the Maulana was here, and he was literally saying that you guys are sinner, you guys are males, and you guys do this stuff. It's so unfair to society. I just bluntly asked that do you have any daughter at your home? That you're so worried that I'm a guy or not, and that became so much like un-Islamic thing, and you can't say this thing to a Maulana. But the thing is that you can say anything to me, my gender, that's my personal thing. But I can comment to you. That's really not fair. And it was very difficult in Pakistan to survive. But when you talk about Islam, there are different categories of people in Islam too. Like, there are countries like Iran in which sex change surgery for transgender people is actually legal. But in Pakistan, it's not, because there are certain divisions in Islam too. So the thing is that I really don't understand what Islam should I define, what Islam should I belongs to, because in some part my sexual surgery, my gender is totally fine, but in some part it's totally a sin. So sometimes even I get confused. So I always talk on the basis of human rights. There's a most easy way to do that. And because I'm a petitioner in the court for the transgender citizenship case, and when we were fighting that case, obviously Sharia law was involved, and everything was like, no, we can't do this thing, stop, it's so Islamic and all that. But I just want to tell all of you, if you guys are not aware, that the holy place of the Islam, that the Khana Kaaba, no male and female is allowed to clean that place except we, and not actually the intersex people, we, that means the transgender people, the people which are cleaning that place are actually castrated. So I mean, people should clean their mind when they talk about religion, because there's certain things in the books which we define in ourselves, because and we take it in ourselves. That doesn't mean that it's written in that way. We have certain books of the, Islam is in Arabic language, so people have translated it into different languages. And whenever somebody translates it, they get something new. Some new thing comes up. So that doesn't mean that thing is existing in that book. That's what we had taken out, or that's what our understanding is. That doesn't define what is written in that book. And transgenders are really new in our era or in our country, Even we don't perceive the rights of women well. We hadn't declared the women rights well. So, but I'm really happy with the community and the journey. Let me share my journey very briefly. I'm a transgender person. When I got decided I have to declare my gender because I was studying medicine at that time. I was in first year when I decided to declare it. And when I came out, I given certain interviews and certain pressure came to my family to kick me out. And I asked my parents that I'm your child, you can't do it. And my father just responded, sorry, you are not because you're not Muslim anymore. I really don't understand how your gender defines your religion. Even if you pray, I pray too. You have a God, I have God too. You doesn't brought that God from your own home. It's for everyone. So please have a break and give a break to the people here. And so I came out, and even I would like to highlight little bit something that happened in inter-community. Because our community is very diverse, we have we have people from all religion. But when somebody come from a non-Muslim background, or when somebody comes like me who wear a mini skirts and a top, then even community says, oh my God, she is not Muslim, I think. Please, clothes doesn't define your gender, doesn't define your sexuality, doesn't define your religion. Today I'm wearing sari. I wear sari because of the thinking that it's not typically attached to the Hindu religion or to the India. It's my own desire to wear it. So please don't judge my gender, sexuality, or my religion on the dressing I'm wearing or the way I behave, or don't judge it whether what I'm drinking. Please stop commenting on it and please support the community members. I would really like to request the community members, because till the time we are not united, the rest of the people are not going to understand us. Because when something new comes, it's a habit of the people to comment something bad about it. So it's our duty to tell us. It's our duty not to just lobby about the activism in the sense of HIV work or in the sense of leadership. We have to talk about the religion. We have to talk about the faith. We have to talk about how can we link the human rights to the religion, and how can we take different perspective out of that things. So please stop all this stuff. And if I had hurted the sentiment of everyone, then I'm really sorry. But I just shared what I have in my heart. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. You're always an inspiration to listen to, and we're very grateful to have you here today. I would now request Kumar to come and share with us his experience.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I have a small presentation of 10 slides of myself, Kumar Shetty from India. We have Aslam Khan. I am presenting this presentation. Gaurav. Gaurav registered in 2010 at March. It's like Gaurav worked with men and transgender who ended in sex work. We and self-identified gay men also. In India, we have a terminology for gay men. It's Bodhi, DD, Panti. There's a huge trend like for the trans women, the Hijra community. We focus on health and human rights issue. Our services like outreach, condom promotion, STI screening, HIV testing and counseling, mental and advocacy and vocal training. Why the faith intervention? More than the 35% Muslim community are registered in our organization. We see there is like many internal stigma and fighting for expeditions, and we see that focus on the external multi layers of stigma, like they are MSM, they are come from the low social economic background, they forced to the sex work, they do sex work for money, and after that they can turn HIV positive. So there's many layers of stigma on that. Why the faith intervention? We had we got some result with the help of outreach workers. The results are like self-stigma, they are lonely and depression, they are risk hidden and sexuality activity, they suicide tendency they have, and then they are really, because they are very vulnerable, and as I say, because in Muslim there's no law for, there's no rights for the women also, but how if the feminine gay men are there, so they really like very violence and very honorable them things. Next. What about Aslam? Aslam is a Muslim man, self-identified Muslim man. He's like full-time engaged in sex work. Due to family pressure, he got married. He have two child. He come out with his family, and now his family acceptance accept him very regardly. He's really a proud Muslim inspiration, community leader, and a responsible husband and father. What the support with the help of Aslam, we support the Muslim community people to come out with the self-identified things. We help them to reach to our DIC or services with the help of and how they engage into sex work, how they do the sex work in their own things. So we try to promote them, and we try to get them into clinic and our services. Why we have to work, because as in a community, we see that Muslim community are not so much coming out things, so we need to our outreach, our community people go out and help them to come out and expecting themselves, being Allah's lover, because we all are God children. God loves everybody, so Allah also loves everybody, so we believe in that thing also. As a family counseling and expression, because we believe because as a Muslim religion, there is no because the women are wearing burqa, and if I am a feminine gay man, so what will be the my family will expect from my thing. So we need a family counseling very strongly. Aslam had initiatives taking session with mohalla committees. We refer them for the health counselor, mental counseling for psychiatrists if need the issues, many big issues. So we help them to get to psychiatrist services also. Continue. We have a meeting with Muslim youth groups, we subscribe Masjid committee. As an Aslam started the event with like a Eid and Iftari party. So it's good to come in community together and sharing the issues and in a DIC or in an event place. The crisis in violence is an ongoing thing that we have to address at our level, because really have because the community is not so out, and it's not so stick to their relationship. So that's why the crisis is an ongoing process. So we are dealing with them on a daily basis or as a weekly basis. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Kumar for the last 10 years, and it's really amazing to see the work that you have been doing so far. You're really an inspiration, Kumar. Thank you so much. We will have time to kind of interact with the speakers, but I would like to call now Shale from Bandhu in Bangladesh to share his experiences.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Apcom, for having such a interesting session here in ELGA conference. Particularly the subject matter today, faith, culture, sexuality, that is the issues, we have been sort of facing almost every day in our life. As you may know, that I'm representing an organization, it's called Bandhu Social Welfare Society. Bandhu has been working on improving sexual health and rights of LGBT, sexual minority population in Bangladesh over last 20 years. We started in 1996. So that's what I'm saying, that this is the subject we have been facing, because a large number of our work is sort of outreach based, and the outreach worker, the community people, almost every day they are coming, and they are they're fighting amongst themselves, between their desire and what the holy book says about, sort of our sexuality, our desire, and the fulfillment.
Thank you, Shali, for your voice of leadership. And our last community voice is Tenzin from Bhutan. You can come up to the lectern and talk to us about your own efforts in engaging with leaders in your country. Thanks.
Hello everyone. My name is Tenzin. I'm from Bhutan. Currently, I'm working as an outreach worker for Haksam, and I'm representing LGBT Bhutan in Haksam. So, to give you an update or on the work, or let's say the work that we are doing is first we are actually more concentrated on outreach, networking, and advocacy. And I'm very happy to tell you that till date we have this year this year we have finished advocating in 21 educational institutions, including which includes schools, colleges, and training institutions in our country. The problem with this institution, when we ask them to give their time for advocacy, they usually deny or reject our proposal because they still think that the issues of LGBT is still a sensitive one in our country. So the other achievement is we have four community members are recruited in Aksam and Ministry of Health to represent LGBT community. And we recently, one of our community members, he has been elected as a CCM member. Then the biggest achievement is that the Idaho 2016 was, we observed Idaho 2016 publicly. That time it was the first time in our country that the pride flag was hosted in our country, and there was a media coverage. And lastly, we have developed a community structure where we have our head, our coordinator as coordinator, and under it we have 4 heads with an member secretary, and we have also elected our heads. So to talk about our I was supposed to do a faith-based presentation. To tell you frankly, I'm not much of a believer. I just go with the flow because in a country where it is dominated by Buddhism or a religion where people are, if you become, if you act differently, then you become a odd one out actually. So I always have to go with the flow. So the majority of the population in Bhutan is Buddhist, followed by Hindu and Christian. The attitude of Buddhism in terms of LGBT or sexual orientation or gender identity is neutral. They don't support that much, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, fine," and all. So to talk about Buddhism, the foundation of Buddhism is a compassion and understanding usually. And one of till date, only one of the religious leader has talked out publicly about. He only talked about sexual orientation, and he's one of the prominent Buddhist leaders. Is Dongsa Jammeh Khyentse Rinpoche, and he said, and I quote, "Your sexual orientation has nothing to do with the understanding or not understanding the truth. You may be gay or lesbian, but that has nothing to do with the religion, because religion is understanding the truth." And I unquote. So when you see, as I said, that our country is dominated by Buddhist population, but where and Buddhism is supposed to be like the foundation of Buddhism is compassion. But where did we went wrong is because people are usually confused between religion and culture. Why? Because so-called religious misogynist people who think that they know everything about their religion usually set up the rules, by looking to the culture. Our Buddhism doesn't say, or our religion doesn't say that it's wrong, or there is nothing written about, being a gay, lesbian, or transgender. It's wrong, having same, being in a relationship with the same sex as yours, it's wrong. But our culture has said that it's wrong, you know. This is because people usually don't understand the religion, and since the rules are set because of the culture, I think that's because of that people think that we are the odd one out, or we are the black sheep of the community. So impact that our religious leader can make is that since I've said that majority of our population is Buddhism, and our religious leader can reach out to lots of people. I mean, if I gave an example, if there is a religious program, then people usually rush from different region to just to visit that leader, and if he can talk about it, about LGBT issues, then he can make huge impact, because people usually listens to them because they idolizes them. So the challenge is why we have not been able to, interact with our religious leaders. First is because our population, when we usually go for, religious session and all the things they use Donka or the local language, and we don't have. Actually, we do have the terminologies for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, but it's really confusing. Even it gets me confused actually. So there is no terminologies first of all, and the language is one of the barriers actually. So thank you.
Okay, so we have some time for question and answers, and the way I wanted to do this is, I think there's one thing that we have not covered adequately, and that is using religious leaders as an entry point. And I would like Sarah to talk about her own experience with religious leaders and what you think is a good strategy to. Shankar, pass this mic.
Oh, right. We would keep adding.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So if you come up and sit here.
Yeah.
Sorry, though. Charlie, you can join us here. Sarah, sit here and then. Oh yeah. We have marketing.
So you need to remove Charlie. You need to. No, can.
Sarah, you want to kick it off and talk about your experience with religious leaders? So, who do you want on this side?
Charlie to sit here.
Yeah, because we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Come on, Charlie.
Thank you. You got that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Okay.
So all of you can talk about religious leaders, but Sarah, you can keep it. Thanks.
I have two kind of experiences. On a very serious note, experience which I had in childhood, that was very good one, and the experience I had after coming out as a transgender, that was not actually that much good because of I don't know because of what. And when I was learning Quran, and Amalvi Sahab was coming at my home to teach me, and it was good because at that time maybe sexuality or gender was not an issue neither for me nor for him. So I was learning the Quran, and I just did that, and it all went well. But when I declared that I'm a transgender and I came out, certain criticism came out even in 2011. I ran to Sri Lanka. I was living in Negombo for 4 or 5 months because of the security threats. Because I was kind of first modern transgender who was coming out and wearing skirt, and I was not. And then when I got criticized and I was lobbying for my life, then I just asked, if you consider me a guy, then guys do wear shorts and guys do get topless. Then what's an issue? Because that's what your point is, that I'm a guy. Then what's the problem? Then they say, no, you can't wear that stuff. Then I ask, okay, are you considering me a female? Then no, you're not female, you don't have. And then I said, then what you're considering me an intersex? There's no, you're not an intersex because of an ambiguous oral logic. I said, what the hell you're considering me then? An animal? The animals are then clothless. And but now if we talk about the things are going little well, because of thing. Whenever I talk, I just say to them, look, I'm not commenting on the religion. I'm just talking on the human right basis. So kindly don't fight with me on the religion basis. But I think situation is like little bit more. If they, I don't know about the country situation, more little bit complex, because if you consider my country, then it's not just a democratic country. It's Islamic democratic country, na? So there is a one court that's a Sharia court, and there's a one court who's a normal constitution and everything. And thanks to the Britishers, they had given such a gift of 377 to us. So Sharia code becomes more powerful, and then that stuff. And I did face a lot of problems in case term, but I think when you speak very clearly, there's a very famous dialogue of an Indian film that even if you lie with a confidence, people do trust it. So I'm not a lie, I'm a truth. So just speak this truth with a confidence, and they have to trust you. And if they don't trust you, then please use a logic. I'm talking on the human right basis. Please don't fight with me. So let's see what they have. Can you share?
I don't have such encounters, but I have some friends and religious leaders like big lamas and all. I have heard that they considered especially transgender women as as lucky sign or something for them actually. Yeah, and if someone comes to me to fight, if they say that you are being a gay is in our religion is wrong, then I would fight with him saying that our religion, the foundation of our religion is compassion. Why don't you show compassion? So we can also use the same thing that they are using to attack us actually.
Yeah. Generally, we work in our organization with Muslim leaders, with Maulvi or something like that. So we go with the perspective of the health. Like we go with the health things, and we take our issue with them together and do advocacy with them. Because if I will go directly and talk about LGBT rights or transgender or gay men, they will never entertain us. So generally we go with the thing like with the channel of the health, and then we take our agenda and we put our agenda in that thing, and like it's a health, and then we come to the like somebody do male to male, so they do sex, there are some STIs who can transmit, there's HIV can transmit. So it's that background we take, and we try to do advocacy. And after that, sometimes we have some visible people like example Sara, we have in India, we also have some no transgenders or no gay men, identify gay men, they come and they talk about that thing. So it's little pretty very not so acceptable on their side, but we trying to put our point and our agenda with their things, and it's kindly we try to achieve, and we try to meet them with that thing.
I think I slightly touched upon in my talk that we are sort of approaching them on the ground of sort of public health and yes, public health and HIV. Yeah, in that way they listen actually. And for us, the other strategy we are following, which is around HIV, the national strategy plan, and that in the plan is mentioned about male having sex with male and transgender Hijra population. So once we talk with the religious leader, we also use this book, the national, this government endorsed book, as an advocacy sort of tool. So whenever we go to them, we try to explain them from that angle, and that's really very helpful. And as I said, that we are started getting result out of it, and they are more sympathetic and sensitized issues around hijras, but not about male having sex with male, but from the public health ground and public health perspective, yes, they are interested to listen and support.
Thank you.
Can I say one thing? Because I do want to use this opportunity. It's not just about, because as you guys know that most of the transgender people in my country are not that much literate because of certain many issues actually. So we are left with no options, but very selective options of either being a baker or being a sex worker. I'm a sex worker too by myself. And the thing is that I just want to ask, I did ask, but I never got this answer clearly. I did ask this thing to the religious leaders that everybody criticize sex workers, everybody criticize that they are doing wrong and everything, but is it better to be a thief or is it better to sell your own body? Is it better to kill someone or is it better to sell your own body? Because we don't, many of us don't even have a money to earn our food. So kindly see in a different perspective and kindly help us to get out of the thing if you think it's wrong. Don't judge us by not getting into our shoes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so insightful. The other question I wanted to ask our panelists is in this growing environment of extremism and violence against activists around Asia, what has been your own experience? I think the conversation that we're having at this conference is the expectations from the global community. And because we're at ILGA World, what is your expectation of this community here in this room and at this conference? Because it's very easy to feel isolated from where you're coming from. And we've been hearing a lot of voices even yesterday of how people are crying out for help and asking globally other activists to support them in this in their struggles within their communities. So from this, using the lens of faith and sexuality, what is the expectation from this room and from this conference?
Yeah, thank you. Very, very, very pertinent and important. I was carefully, sort of listening the discussion had an interfaith, session this morning, and what I really felt, I mean, the organizer or yeah, they could have explored possibility to invite a couple of faith leaders in this sort of conference. We are talking about there are sort of positive faith leaders, and we are talking about faith and culture, and I think it would have good if the faith leaders also join and and start conversation, so that it would be always with the community people talks, but yes, for whom we are talking about. So it would have good to have the conversation where the community leaders and also the faith leaders also participate, and the debate starts and come up sort of couple of suggestions.
I think we can use one more logic. I understand that in certain regions coming out is a risk, but you can't win anything without shedding of blood, whether it's a country or and it's a very big thing, that it's a gender thing, it's a sexuality thing. Somebody have to start. So by starting it together will make it easy and difficult for others to resist us. So let's join the hand and start this thing, and be prepared that you guys have to face certain things, because without facing any harm we can't do it or we can't achieve it.
What I feel is sometimes it's really good to be, silent. Not in that kind. Do not make too much noise. I come from Bhutan, and people there don't like too much sound actually. So we have to do silently, make the foundation really good actually. First of all, meet with the, have a dialogue with the, first identify the leaders who may, support us, and have a dialogue with them and prepare them, to, face people. If you go on making noise, then I guess, I think that, I feel that there will be lots of issues that rise up from the government and from the society.
I really agree with Sarah because generally in this room we all are leaders, and we should start from our hand, like charity start from home, because we all are here. We should start from our side so we can go to a country, we go to our district, we go to a state, and we can work with the leaders, and we have to approach it because this is now a universal issue, and that's it. The expectations from this room is that much only. Thank you.
We can now take questions from all of you attending. We have a couple of mics that can go around. There's one mic on the left turn. You can just pass that around. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I have a question. Does it work?
Yeah, there
Yes.
is.
I have a question for Sarah. So I'm Osama Malik. I'm also from Pakistan. I know there's talks within Nazra that they're introducing the third gender on the identity card, and there's also a mosque in Islamabad being built only for transgender people. So do you think the next decade things would be much better, or you think it's going to remain like same stagnant?
What would be
situation?
better if they are using the word third gender?
No, actually, I heard they're
Who will define who is first, who is second, and who is third?
no, they're just introducing a
Yeah,
third column.
I would like to answer it, but I would like to clarify the third gender too, because I think we trans males and females are equally gorgeous and intelligent than cis males and females. So there's no third gender. We all are equal, and yeah, our work is going on, and it's progressing, but the thing is that it's just on the paper or the theoretical things. When you talk about the implementation, nothing is happening there. Nothing is happening there except killing them, except raping us, except beating us, or except taking charges of standing on the roads or anything. Nothing is happening on implementation stuff. But still, I'm using the word it's better, is that because the society is getting little bit more sensitized toward the trans, towards LGBT issues, and within the community things are getting better. Actually, we are standing each other, because when we talk 6 years back, including my example, there was a lot of difference between transgender gay people and lesbian people. But now we all say, okay, fine, we will fight afterward. First, we get united and get the things done, then we see what else can happen.
Now, what about the mosque? Do you think is that a first good step towards religious acceptance or something?
I don't think so, because I think the situation will get more worse. We should, it's a nature of my country, or maybe nature of mine too, that we suddenly climb. Don't do that stuff. Now go by step, and then you can change the things. Like what government did is that they issued NIC 4 years back. NIC won't get you the rights. NIC won't get you won't sensitize society. First, you have to do acceptance and sensitization sessions in the society, and then you can. It should be the last step. There's no policy, nothing. Just a NIC. It's just a paper card. So I think the community should also plan the things in more strategic way, and I don't criticize community on that, because we are not that much educated. very few of us are educated and can do the paper and the things in a logical way. So, and being an educated transgender, I feel it's my duty toward my country, toward my community actually, to plan that things in a more logical way, and I will definitely do when I get back to Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. There's somebody at the
Okay.
why don't you go? Then we have the at the back.
Okay. This is a small comment for what Sarah said. Yes, I totally agree with her because in my country, when
Can you
the
introduce yourself before you?
sorry, I'm Tenu from Sri Lanka. When the Human Rights Commission was doing some work for the gender certificate, they clearly asked that whether shall we put as the third gender, and we said no because that's another term of discrimination. They want to identify us. We clearly say it should be either male or female. That's it. No other gender.
Thank you for the intervention. We have a question at the back.
Hello everyone, I'm Rani Rainbow from Indonesia. I'm working for Tali Tapung is LGBT, lesbian, bisexual, transgender organization in Solo, Indonesia. We are concerned about this because we are making a documentation about Sogi-based violence in LGBT commitment community, and the result is that the violence motivated by the religious interpretation text about LGBT, homosexual, or transgender, and we do some things about this, like we doing FGD with the most powerful, most big Muslim community organization like NU and Muhammadiyah in a grassroots level, but they very open. As person, they very open and dialectic person, but just when we do like FGD and the others about Sogi and violence, is just stop to that time, not the like they provide some safe space, or they doing the dialogues and invite us to their organization, and so because of that, so it's not even happens until right now. We doing it to approach them about last 2 years, but the result is like fairly slowly, and right now we start to to promote the progressive interpretation text, religion text about LGBT and homosexual to the public in discussion and everything. And because the Indonesian political eclim is like setback about this issue, so I don't know how about yours another strategy, because we doing right now, just we going to approach person by person that can protect LGBT community from the violence, particularly in LGBT case in domestic violence. Like this is been 2 years across the organization based religion, but like slowly movement. I don't know. Maybe you can ask my question.
Do you want to respond to the Indonesian experience and perhaps give some words of advice or your own experience from your country that can? Oh, let's hold on. Let's hold on to the process. We have another question behind the room, and we'll take that one, and then we will come back to the panel.
Good afternoon. My name is Atharva. I'm from India. Sorry, it's not a question, rather than a comment. I've been working with the transgender community and identify myself as transgender for the past 16 years, and what has come across, I mean, I work closely with all the countries which are sitting across, right from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Bhutan, and stuff like that. One of the things is, if we need to take faith, we need to take religious leaders along with us to work commendably. And when we say policies are in place, the government or the Supreme Court orders a rule in, unless we have an implementation process along with the policies, the things fall out. I would take other countries' example. I would simply take the country India's example. We got the Supreme Court judgment in April 2014. The government has come down. A private member bill from like the upper house and the lower house, the parliamentary system. The upper house passed a bill which came to the lower house, but due to the political tough between the two parties, the bill couldn't process. The government came up with a third bill, which is actually watered down version of the bill. So what we find is, unless all the community people stand in ground and work together towards the policies and implementation, it cannot come down to action. What we see is two parallel ways of working along with the political party, working along with the religious party, and mainstreaming in between, building the gap. That is what the community leaders or the people across has come out. I truly agree with what Sarah has seen. I've been to Pakistan a couple of times. The problems we have faced is that people are expecting certain things from the transgender community, but there is a gap still which needs to be filled in, and the political party is not willing to interact with them. The same happens in Bangladesh as well when we were there. So what I feel is that leaders should be more responsible, and the work towards has to be more grounded, and the action has to be taken. I mean, we follow the pyramid structure, so I would say that the work has to start from top to bottom as well as bottom to top. The both way process should be simultaneously followed, and that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Attar. I wanted to kind of ask the panel, do you think that there is a strong nexus between religious leaders and political leaders? And do you see an opportunity to kind of use religious leaders as a bridge to political leaders, or political leaders to religious leaders? Has there been any experience in your country of doing that? Or do you think it's a good strategy?
I think answering your question would also would be the answer of the person from Indonesia too, and I think it can be a good strategy. And I don't know about other countries that much because I'm not into political stuff of other countries. But when we talk about Pakistani context, then obviously we do have political leaders who are involved in the politics too, and I think it's a good strategy, very good strategy. And one more thing, what actually I'm doing is in my country to lobby the religious leader, that whenever I get a call for the morning show or any show at the television, I usually ask them who else is coming, and they tell me, okay, fine, this transgender is coming, this is coming. I always ask, why don't you call our DIG from police in the show too? Why don't you call some Maulana too in the show? This is, no, madam, it will be too controversial. I said, don't worry, it won't be. And whenever I sit in the show and when they start thing, I always ask first question to them, do you consider me a human being? And they obviously they will answer yes, because I don't like an animal, look like an animal, although we all are social animal. And when they answer yes, I say Islam teach us to treat all human equally. So please treat me equally, and then they become little bit more acceptable to my words and whatever I'm saying. And when they go back, they also discuss this thing. It's a very slow process, but that's a strategy I and my community members are using in our country. Would you like to comment?
Yes, I agree. It could be a good strategy, but I was just thinking about my countries that about this strategy. I'm not sure about others, but in Bangladesh, particularly, even among the religious leaders, there are a number of groups. So if we think about, who would be the good allies for the government, work with government, I mean, how the selection process will be made. Because, if someone select from X group, then, there will be debate, because they have different, sort of opinion amongst themselves. In Bangladesh, even, if I'm not wrong, there are 20 groups of religious leaders, or more than that. So, how the coalition would be made then? That are that, the areas we need to think through. But I think, it could be a good strategy to begin with.
in India we have vice versa thing, to be honest. Like we have a politicians also, we have a community leaders also, like religion leaders also. So sometimes they are very helpful to us about we are taking our issue with their benefits also. So they help us to go to politicians and do that thing, and sometimes politicians also do that same strategy, because we are the mediator, we are the people who need to coordinate with both of them, and that's sometimes works very good for us.
Tensa, you have anything to say?
The politics in our country, the politics and the religion is kept separately actually. But what I feel is that the religious leader can influence, the political leader, because since they are Buddhists, they usually are the followers of that religious leaders actually. So I think there is a chance that we can do that. I think there is an opportunity that we can exploit actually.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Sure.
I do not have a question, but I would like to read it.
Check that mic.
It is working now, thank you. My name is Tanzil, and I'm the program manager of a community-based organization named Dostana, situated in Lahore. So I and Sara have been working together from last several years, and last year we have conducted a national level research on the issues of transgenders from the platform of NAS. And the findings were very horrifying, I must say that. And the issue is we don't want to discuss, or we don't want to touch the topic of gender or sexuality in our country, because we don't want to change or disturb our patriarchy. And the another problem is whenever we speak about the transgender issues, community, public as a whole, general public, they don't understand anything like transgender man, transgender woman, a soul is trapped in a wrong body or something like that. Whenever we do interventions and whenever there is a fatwa from Islamic scholars, it is about hermaphrodites only. It's not for transgender man or woman. And another issue is, because this is a taboo subject, gender is a taboo subject, sexuality is a taboo subject, we don't want to reveal or open up the discussion. Islamically also, we don't want to discuss these issues. And the issues of ID cards, they were able to gain the identification back in 2009 by the ruling of Supreme Court, but it only defines and explains or give the identity to the hermaphrodites. It's not for transgender women. And the recent ruling, there is another fatwa from Islamic Nazariyati Council that is also giving permission or allowing transgenders to get married, and that is also for eunuchs only. This is not for transgender men or women. So these are the kind of issues we are facing. The only three options for transgender women are just to do sex work, begging, dancing only. Not every transgender woman can do begging, sex work, dancing and all that. We don't want to discuss these issues. Even in the morning shows, like how many of them are there to actually represent a community? So these were few of the findings, and there are a lot more, but the thing is, like, I just want to summarize the issue that this is the major issue that we are not discussing, or we should, to make interventions or policies. Thank you.
Can I continue Tanzeen, a little bit? And the one strategy we are using in our country, because as Tanzeen mentioned, all the things were actually formulated for intersex / hermaphrodite / for the people born with ambiguous organ. So, but they use the word Khwajasara for everything. So what logic we use, because all transgender people in the Pakistan are categorized as Khwajasara, so we said, okay, fine, if the government is not aware of that thing, don't tell them that thing, because sometimes over advocacy fires back. So sometimes it's better to get the things done whether the door is wrong. So that's why we are silent. And we're saying, okay, yes, we all are Khwajasaras, it's the same umbrella. It's also one of the strategy, and believe me, it's really working. It's really working in our perspective, because they are not aware we protested against the medical checkup thing. So there's no medical checkup now for to get the NIC anymore. So hermaphrodite slash intersex slash ambiguous organ person slash trans woman slash trans man slash hijra community all are together and we all are Pajisaras in Pakistan.
Thank you so much. We have time for one last question or comment. Otherwise, we will kind of summarize this session today. I really want to thank all our panelists. I couldn't possibly summarize the nuances of what you have shared with us. It's been a really rich discussion. We will have an opportunity to kind of allow you to speak with the participants of the session during tea time. And we really would encourage you to use this opportunity to meet with our panelists today. But I will, perhaps in a very naive way, kind of try to kind of summarize my own personal learning from this session. I don't subscribe to any religious belief, but I do think that individuals and communities have a very strong relationship with their faith, and we can, as organizations, community-based organizations, we cannot afford to ignore this aspect of their lives. It's an integral part of their psyche. And there's also, like what Shale said, is a very real struggle with LGBTI and their desires and their faith. And we really need to address this in the context of our interventions. Having said that, I believe religion should empower, allowing for both agency and opportunity. I think there are opportunities out there that unless individuals are allowed to vocabulary within their religious context, they are not able to exercise agency. And we have heard that from the testimony of Kumar, of Tenzin, and Sarah as well. We also want to place the conversation of religion and sexuality in the context of backlash, violent backlash in certain countries. And we've been hearing this constantly throughout this conference, that there is a need for global support for our brothers and sisters in these countries. It is time to raise our voice and join our voices with theirs. So when you meet diplomats, when you meet staff of embassy, please reiterate this fact that there's a need for them to exercise their special privileges to protect our brothers and sisters in these countries. I think Sarah made a very interesting point of saying that within the community, some are more unequal than others. There is a lot of inequality, even in the inequality that we see around us. So we need to kind of stand up for our brothers and sisters who have a different gender expression. I also really like what our panelists have been saying about using the human rights platform to broaden the conversation, to make it more inclusive so that people are not alienated from the conversation that we're trying to have. I really like what Sarah keeps saying over and over again, we are human beings first. I think there's a need to integrate the work that we're doing with religious leaders into the comprehensive sexuality education framework as well, because like Shale and Sarah and Kumar and Tenzin have been saying, we need to start with young people and start at a very young age. So there's a real need for you to advocate for that too in your own context. It's slightly ironic because they are preaching to the already converted, no pun intended here. But the real work begins when we go out of this session. I would really encourage you to pick up a copy of our Islam and Christianity paper, critique it, come back to us and tell us what's missing, how we can improve it, and use them as tools to kind of take it to your own interventions, to your own communities, and to your own contexts. We are also happy to explore together with you if you could translate this into your local languages, so there is an opportunity for us to make this contextual to your countries. Please come back to us and tell us that you require this kind of support. HAPCOM is a regional network working with these issues, and we would be really happy to help you. Having said that, I want to really thank the panelists again. Thank you, Dede. Thank all of you. Please join us for tea outside and have a wonderful conference.